Looks like there's a lot of blame going around, a lot of finger pointing in the White House when it comes to who directed or who allowed Donald Trump to sit down and get interviewed by Bob Woodward. How did he have 18, nay, 19 conversations we just learned about today with Bob Woodward? How did it get approved? Well, all this drama in the White House makes for a good segment of As the White House Turns.
Made some very big mistakes. I asked for his resignation.
I'm disappointed in the Attorney General.
So, seems like everyone in the White House acknowledges that Donald Trump is a doofus and can't be trusted to sit down and do an interview with normal journalists, people like Bob Woodward. So when the first excerpts dropped, blame was immediately cast inside the West Wing over who let Trump talk to Woodward 18 times in audio that was recorded. Now, after Woodward was done writing his book, apparently he called Woodward up for a 19th conversation to see what was in the book. And Woodward was like, yeah, it's a tough book. It's a tough book. And I'm guessing Trump now realizes exactly what that means. One White House official was quoted as saying in Politico, sometimes the president does a non-traditional thing and you get a surprising result. But I don't think any of us recommended doing it.
Can I translate that? The translation for that is the president's an idiot and there's nothing we can do. Literally every single one of us told him, do not sit down with Bob Woodward and speak to him 18 different times on tape and not get an agreement that the book is not going to come out until after the election or ever. What is wrong with you? And he was like, oh no, I got this. I'm gonna outsmart Bob Woodward, and I think he likes me. Oh my God, Bob Woodward's such a big journalist, and I can't believe he's paying attention to me. He still doesn't get it. You're the president. Of course, Bob Woodward is paying attention to you, schmuck. And so he just never understood it. And so it's his giant ego combined with his tiny intellect that led him to walk in and think that he was going to prove what a great president he is to Bob Woodward. And then it comes out right before the election. Of course, he's trying to sell a book. What did you think was gonna happen, you schmuck of schmucks? And so that is exactly. People who work for Donald Trump telling you in public, sorry, it's not us, he's the dumb one.
Yeah, and they don't really hide the fact that they feel that way. For instance, his own chief of staff, Mark Meadows, went on cable news to basically share just how little faith he has in Trump doing these types of interviews. Let's take a look.
I'm not surprised that the president was on the phone with Bob Woodward. I honestly, his access to the White House is probably something that I would not have recommended had I been in the chief of staff role very early on. But it's the typical thing that the president does. He believes that he has nothing to hide, and that's the great thing about him.
I mean, that's a fun way to twist it. That's definitely a fun way to twist it.
Yeah, that's basically Mark Meadows saying he's a dum-dum. I would have tackled him before I let him talk to Bob Woodward, but you can't tackle the guy. So go, no, I got this. I'm really smart. I'm gonna tell Bob Woodward how smart I am. How'd that work out for you?
So the update to this story, by the way, is that after the initial finger pointing, the White House officials realized that, okay, wait, maybe we need to have a united message on this, and maybe we shouldn't talk about how much of a bad idea it is for Trump to be interviewed by reporters. So let's just all pretend like we were okay with it and that we recommended it. So CNN aired right before this show went live, saying that all of the White House officials thought it was a great idea for Trump to get interviewed by Bob Woodward.
Sure. That's Trump getting angry at them when he sees it on TV and turning to them and say, are you guys calling me a dum-dum? Are you trying to blame me for it? Okay, now you all of you go out there and tell everybody what a great idea I had in talking to Bob Woodward. Okay, and that's literally what's happening right in front of your eyes. And can we solve the mystery of who's responsible for Trump talking to Woodward? I'm pretty sure it's the guy on the phone. Donald Trump.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. I'm glad you brought that up. So a few more things I want to quickly mention about that. So there are all these theories about who encouraged him to do these interviews. But honestly, he's now said twice on the record, once while being interviewed by Hannity last night and once today during a White House press conference, that Trump wanted to talk to Bob Woodward, that he thought that Bob Woodward would somehow write a positive book on him. Right? So he was under the impression that Woodward was somehow miraculously on his side and wanted to write some sort of glowing biography about him. I mean, it just shows you how unbelievably delusional Donald Trump really is. And I also want to note that he would call Bob Woodward unexpectedly out of nowhere. He didn't, communicate with his press people. He didn't, notify his staff about it. He'd just be like, "Hey, yo, you know what? I'm tripping on this Addy. Let me hit him up because I can't sleep, and just go off on how coronavirus is real and a lot of people are dying, and I'm not going to do anything about it." Awesome. And then he'll write a glowing biography about me. He is the dumbest person on the planet.
Yeah, except for everyone who works for him and everyone who's going to vote for him. So that's your fearless leader right there. Look, guys, I get that Woodward sucks up sometimes to people in government to get access, but Trump is not savvy enough to understand that Woodward thinks he's going to get a free shot at Trump here because the establishment doesn't like Trump. So Woodward is a person who cares deeply about his status in Washington. And the best way to burnish that status is by getting access to Trump and then revealing damaging things about Trump before the election. I mean, that's Washington 101. A child would know that. And that's why his advisors didn't want him to do it. But you can't stop the president from calling Bob Woodward at 3 in to brag about, by the way, another revelation in the book about how he got Mohammed bin Salman off. He said, "Oh man, Congress was not going to let him get away with it, but basically I alone stopped them and quote saved his ass." That's the guy who executed and ordered the dismembering of Khashoggi, a columnist for the Washington Post. He's telling probably the most famous Washington Post reporter of all time about how he brags about how he saved the guy who dismembered a Washington Post columnist. How do you stop something that stupid? It is a force of nature. It can't be stopped.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.